So I was cut off. Phone call. People need to be incentivized algorithmically using AI based on intelligence that's going to optimize the system. And hoarders are a good example. So it's like I've been a prepper for a while, and when you have a financial job and you see a lot of things. So you see what's going on. So there was just some. It's just for psychological comfort, really. I didn't think that necessarily there was going to be an apocalypse scenario that was really like imminent. But anyway, in the last couple of years, I've learned that some of the things that were threats have been sort of not eliminated, but I'm not so worried anymore. But preppers are an interesting case, and then you have like Mormons are preppers because Mormons believe you need 6 months of food that they have in their house. So the question is, do you need hundreds of tomatoes, canned tomatoes, in your garage? Aren't they better left in the store? Or like my friend used to say about his fat friend, keep the food in the refrigerator, not in your belly. In other words, we've got not a limited amount of supply, but we've got supply, whatever it is. People buy and sell goods, guns and butter and different things, and industrial products and every kind of product. And it's not that the computer will decide what you'll eat for dinner. It's not about that at all. It's about the value of things in the market. Just like a stock market. I mean, you have algorithms that trade stocks, and hedge funds use algorithms to trade and make a profit. Why not use algorithms to determine the value of goods? Now, obviously, the merchants are not going to be happy about this at first because they're thinking, well, we've got a monopoly, like the milk monopoly that got busted price fixing. Every cartel ends up price fixing in the end. It's just the temptation is too great. Like the Forex guys, the banks, right? They're fixing the price. They paid $15 billion in fines. What do? They keep fixing the price. 10%. Send money to Europe if you don't believe me. Send money to another country. You're going to pay 10, 15% in the spread. They're not going to charge you a fee. You're just going to look at. They only display when you go into the bank. It says here's the euro. If you're in New York, if you're in Europe, it's going to say here's the U.S. dollar in euros. But they're not going to show you what it costs to exchange back because then you'd see the difference is like huge. So the monopolies and the people with the money form cartels naturally because they are incentivized to do so. They are gaming the system. So you have to discourage gaming, discourage hoarding, and discourage greed. You can let them have a profit. So it's not about that. They can still get rich. They just will get a little less rich, and they'll screw people a little less. And that little margin is huge because you're talking about having like profits of, let's say you're an individual person, $100 million instead of $10 billion. I mean, what can an individual person really do with that kind of wealth? And now here's the other thing. The people who are really against this are going to be the people who are making $10 billion a year. Well, there's not so many of them. The people who would be okay with this, people who are not yet at that level but want to be, they can still get to that level. So there's really, the only people who will be really against this are going to be like less than 10,000 people. Let's put it that way. But anyway, I think even some of them, like someone like Elon, I'm sure Elon would be on board with this because it's not a tax. You don't want to tax. Taxing is just stupid. You never want to tax anything or regulate anything. That's just going to end an economy. You want to regulate something, you can't have more regulation than what happened in Soviet Union, and that was a total disaster, okay? So an intelligent system can manage all that. We have the computing power, we have AI, we have everything is connected. I mean, Walmart had a thing a while back where they're putting internet on every product with an RFID chip. So with the Internet of Things, I mean, we can do all kinds of things. So this is, I think, the future. So not stable coins. You have to provide the guardrails for the right incentives. And currently, it's like the cartels created the rules. Okay? And so the rules are, I win and you lose. So like if I'm the cartel, why would I want to grow a competitor? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to fund your competition. You want to pass a law like the Dodd-Frank idiot law that they passed that put me out of business when I was a currency trader, but it monopolized the Forex business. So these 8-10 banks, the usual suspects, they doubled and tripled their profits, which is hard to do if you're already making tens and tens of billions of dollars. Whereas there were 500-600 Forex brokers in 2003-ish when I started doing that. And then now there's 3. And one of them was just bought by, I mean, it's all just, it becomes this M&A game. It's like Wall Street, the movie. You know, greed is good. It's not really. I mean, that's a way you destroy an economy, because you end up having no choices. It's like Coke, Pepsi. They've done the same thing with the political system, Democrats and Republicans. I mean, even in Europe, I'm not comparing anything. America is more free. It's better. But the uni party is really, they've all just gamed the system. When you look at the people that went into politics, and their net worth entering and exiting, every politician except Tim Burchett and maybe like Dennis Kucinich, and I mean a small handful of people, actually didn't get rich by being in politics. And currently, you can also say that about Trump and Elon Musk and RFK. They've actually lost money by participating in politics. So you have to think about people's incentives. The people who are making money, it's not that it's not nothing against the profit, right? Americans love to make business. I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. I love to trade. I'm a trader. Markets are good. But you don't want someone to game the system. I mean, arbitrage is like one thing, but what these guys are doing, it's all kind of like systemic arbitrage. The problem is there's a loser on the other side. So, like with the war pigs, there's these guys making money from bombs and war, but people on the other side are being murdered. So that's kind of like in the black side of, we don't want to do that. Then if you move to it's kind of more of a gray area, you've got things like gaming the political system. Like Nancy Pelosi is outperforming every hedge fund. Her performance is just stellar because she has inside information. She knows what's going to happen. Congress is going to pass a law or whatever she knows. It's not illegal because it's not company information. It's inside information about laws, or, you know, it's not like she's not actually doing anything illegal until they pass a law against using your position. It's like the Forex game. If let's say I work at the Bank of England and I know the Bank of England is going to cut rates, and I tell my friend, there's no laws against that, and you can profit from it. Now, when you're at the Bank of England, there's a rule that you sign. It's like a code of ethics that you shouldn't do that. And a guy in Switzerland, his wife was trading based on I forget which central bank, but I think either the guy was Swiss or it might have been the Bank of England, but it's a famous case. You can read about it. And he recused himself. Of course, he didn't give back the money. That would have been honorable. But the point is, anytime you have someone gaming the system, they shouldn't be allowed to do so. So they should be allowed to profit, but not game the system, because then you have toxic actors that never create any value. Gordon Gekko does not create value. Venture capital creates value. They create jobs, hire people, build things. What does SpaceX do? They build rockets. Starlink. I use a Starlink on my RV. It's amazing technology. Venture capital starts businesses and builds things. Private equity, M&A activity, people gaming the system, all of these groups are typically bad actors. I mean, there's exceptions, but the point is that everyone needs to align their incentives to optimize the resources we have, whether we're talking about consumer goods or capital goods or production or any part of the economy, and allow investment and allow development and inventors and all these things to kind of disrupt the economy. And you should incentivize risk taking. So like if an entrepreneur is taking a risk, he should be rewarded if he succeeds. But everything should be balanced, and it shouldn't end up being that Like one guy owns the whole world and everyone else is like his slave. Like, and that's kind of what we have in a sense. And so there is a way to do this and go about it, and I think society is ready for that. And it would also stabilize society because you'd have less extremes, you'd have less discrepancies. I mean, if people were pretty much all happy with their lives, there wouldn't be any war or revolutions, or no one would buy into it. Like, what are you doing this weekend? Well, I'm going to the protests. Well, I'm gonna be making music, or I'm gonna be meditating. If people had like real lives, they wouldn't get paid to go to these protests and hold signs and whatever they're doing. So that's all. I'm going to end it, and that's kind of just a rant on stable coins and stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? We have to think about, when we're designing an intelligent system, that not only the system should be fair, but who's on the other side of every trade and what's happening. Like, are we profiting from someone's pain and suffering? That's obviously not sustainable. And not only because you don't want people to suffer, that's obvious, you don't want people to be hurt, but it's not a sustainable business. Whereas, think about something like amusement parks. It's kind of just all good fun. What's wrong with that? Profiting from people having fun. Or the music industry, or something like that. I mean, you can think of thousands of industries that are not harmful, like the war business. The problem is, they say, yeah, well, it's not so profitable, the margins aren't so good. There's other things. How about space exploration? That's a lot more cool than war, and nobody gets hurt. So the world is a big place. The galaxy is a big place. The universe is just, we don't even know how many galaxies there are and how many universes there are. So let's go exploring instead of fighting over one swath of land in the Middle East because there's oil there or something like that. It's absurd. So anyway, that's how I see the future going, and I see this because I was a currency trader for 20 years, and I looked into the major Bitcoin coins and tokens and STOs and DeFi and staking and everything, and I think crypto is cool. I mean, it's certainly a lot better than the fiat system, but it's also not a solution. We have to have something that is fair and manages everything according to, that's not creating waste, and that's sustainable. That's something where you can have, instead of having the world's first trillionaire, we will have millions of millionaires. And isn't that better? Wouldn't you rather have millions of millionaires than millions of bums and 2 trillionaires in the world? Of course. So that's where we're headed. I feel good about the future. Thank you for watching the video.